caring for an elderly loved one can sometimes be a challenge for a lot of family members, and times can get really tough when you throw something like a storm or a hurricane into the mix.
Absolutely. Kimberly Crawford-Stokes is the sales director over at Anthem Lake Senior Living and Memory Care, and you've got some great advice for us today. How are you?
Yes, I do. Hi, thank you for having me again. Thank you so much.
Absolutely,
yes.
Absolutely. So you got some tips to make sure that senior living gets back on track. I mean, we saw some things, obviously, that happened during that storm that didn't work out so well in a lot of places. So what can seniors do here to make sure that they can keep it going, keep on track?
Well, transitioning from any type of traumatic event, you know, the storm was it was an eye-opening to everyone about how we prepare, but not just how we prepare, but how do we get back on track as far as us and our normal lives, but our families, especially if you're a caregiver for a loved one. So a couple of things that I did make mention of. First off, let's talk about prescriptions. Taking your medicine on time is something that seniors already struggle with throughout the day. You have doctor's appointments, you have sometimes meetings to get to, and sometimes family members can't get to you quick enough to make sure you did take your medicine. But when you throw in a mix of a storm that some pharmacies lost power for days, some weeks at a time, some of the things that you may want to do is, number one, check and make sure that their medications, they don't have any missed dosages that they could have forgot to take, or because they weren't able to take them at certain times of the day because maybe that they lost power or didn't have certain foods available, make sure they're not doubling up on certain medications that can be harmful. Also check with the pharmacist to find out what is their plan if an emergency happens to where they may have to evacuate or they lose power. Also, it's a good time to talk with the pharmacy and the pharmacist to find out if they offer a delivery service, because a lot of pharmacies offer this now, and there's no cost.
Would you ever want to stack up and make sure that you have medications just in case you might not have access to them for a couple of weeks?
I would say no, because those prescriptions may change. When someone goes to the doctor, their prescriptions and the medications that they're currently on may change according to the change in their diet, the change in their condition. So what you always want to do is make sure that you have the most updated prescription and that the pharmacy has a plan in place should you need to evacuate or should you need to relocate a family member. And the best way to do that is find out if they do offer delivery of emergency prescriptions, if the doctor can call in a prescription, and again, what is the turnaround time if you need something within 24 hours?
And it sounds like a good conversation to have with your doctor, right? A potential what if, right?
Yes.
If unfortunately we have to go through what we've been through with Irma and Matthew and what have you.
Yes.
And that's another one of your tips. You say a doctor's appointment check. Just check in with them.
Doctor's appointment check is very important because we don't pay attention to how traumatic that storm was that we had to prepare for. Literally in a matter of hours, we were being told, listen, you have to go. This is going to be something that is going to impact us, is going to impact us for a couple of days. And that is very traumatic on someone that is already very limited in their mobility and also their resources. So scheduling an appointment with the physician to, number one, make sure that they are up to date on any appointments that may have been missed, any appointments that had to be rescheduled. Making sure that those appointments coincide with any specialty appointments. So the primary care physician may be the first point of contact, and then a follow-up may need to be scheduled with a podiatrist or a pulmonologist or an endocrinologist. You want to make sure that those appointments lined up and they're not missed. You also want to discuss with the physician how trauma may have affected your loved one.
Now, is there anything that they should do to prepare the home or the grounds outside the home?
Yes, and no one wants to do this. Take a weekend and make it a fun day where everyone comes to the house and you do a grounds check. Now, this is not an opportunity to get rid of whatever you think has been there for 40 years.
Well, you have some free labor around, so.
Time to edit.
Yes, so no, you don't want to do that. But you want to make sure that the flooring is sound. You don't feel any bumps if you've just had maybe installed flooring or carpet. You want to make sure that there's no moisture, especially if you have like a screened in or a patio. You want to make sure that there's no thick or moisture feeling around where you have some new, maybe some flooring or carpet there. You want to make sure that there are no cracks in the ceilings. You want to make sure in the bathrooms that there's no cracks in any tile that can create any future problems. Big thing too, you want trees are another thing. Snakes are another problem.
That's a big problem.
This may be the time to maybe not have the grandchild cut the grass, have a professional lawn service come in and cut the grass and do the lawn maintenance going forward. And also check the garage. That is a huge obstacle that a lot of people don't really pay attention to, but you have moisture in there, you have boxes. You don't know if a box sitting there for 10 years may be completely mildewed. And that can cause issues. So you want to take the time and do that and get with family members. Also look into any professional services. They are running a lot of good incentives nowadays, so that may be something else.
All right, Kimberly, thanks for being here.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate
Thank
your
you.
time. And thanks to Anthem Lakes for coming on. For more information, I want to give you a phone number, 904-583-5399. You can also find them on Instagram at Anthem Lakes.